you're not voting for people, you're voting for a party. And you have to look at both parties as two competing companies, right? And they're trying to get two things from its consumers, money and votes, right? And these two companies are marketing their new product. Yeah. And it's that product for the new product for the next 4 years, right? And I think it just lends more to what has happened to democracy overall, is that capitalism has taken over. And I think I was watching, I can't remember it, probably Fox, and they had everyone right now that is up, right, in the election in each state. And then they put the dollar signs under each name, right, the Republican and the Democrat. And if you compared it and contrast that, overlaid with the polls, whoever had the most money had obviously the better votes or was winning in that state, right? Except for Montana, where, what's his name, Sheehy?
Yeah,
Sheehy.
O'Shea?
I think it's Sheehy. Yeah. Sheehy had like zero
like 10 to
money,
1, yeah.
but he was the only one where zero money, but was winning.
Yeah.
And I think that in itself says everything.
No, yeah, I mean, to me, money is unquestionably one of the biggest, if not the biggest, hurdle and problem, I think, with politics. I mean, take lobbying as an example. Everywhere else in the world, it's just considered bribery, or it's called bribery, and here it's legal and called lobbying, and I mean, to me, like, that as a step one, I think is an easy, low-hanging fruit thing to get rid of. But the problem is, whether you're talking about imposing term limits, getting rid of lobbying, making it to where, people that have insider information because of, if you're on the defense fucking committee and that McDonnell Douglas is about to get a $40 billion contract before the public knows, and you tell your uncle, hey, here's fucking 40 grand. But, it's like, that's why all of them are worth 10x what they were when they started. Like, those are all things that seem pretty easy to get your arms around, that would be pretty easy to outlaw. Now, the trading thing is difficult because of that scenario. It's like, well, you can tell your brother who can tell his wife doesn't have the same last name, so I don't even know how the fuck you get around that. But the other two things, seem pretty fucking feasible to do. But the problem is the only people that can make that happen are the people that are going to get fucked by it.
Yeah.
So they're never going to do that.
No.
It's asking the fox to audit himself in the hen house. Like, it's not happening. So I don't know how you fix that problem. And I had Eli on. He's actually been on twice. The first time was before he ran for Congress. The second time was during his campaign. And he did agree to come back on. I said, give it a year or two, because I would love to hear, kind of the no shit team guy to team guy behind the curtain, like, what the fuck really goes on? Why is it so broken? Why is it so difficult to get any traction? So hopefully I can get him back on here and we can talk about it. But
I always thought if you just took the IRS and said, hey, you're not going to look at the American public any longer. You're going to turn your focus inside the Beltway for the next 4 to 8 years.
Yeah.
All you're going to do is look at every single defense contract, and you're going to look at every elected official, all the money.
Yeah.
That's what you're going to do. You're going to audit that entire system. And if they just did that, just for 4 to 5, whatever, 4 years, 8 years, however long it takes, and stop looking at us,
Yeah.
And I think, one, the IRS would probably make more money.
Yeah.
The country would probably save more money.
Yeah.
Right?
But
just inside the Beltway alone.
Yeah. But so similar problem, though, is that they're funded by the people now that they're turning their eye on.
Exactly.
And they're not going to
never work.
They're not going to bite the hand that feeds,
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys have any ideas, thought processes on how the fuck you fix, something as simple as lobbying and campaign finance.
Man, that's a tough one. I mean,
I think you said it. It's I mean, they're the ones in charge, and you know what I mean? I don't know, unless, I just wish there was a way. I always thought, like, in a perfect world, if we just didn't pay taxes for a year and ground that machine to a halt and sat them down and said, all right, guys, this is what we're going to do.
You paying attention now?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to hit them in the wallet, and I just don't know how to do that, because they're supposed to listen to us, represent us, vote the way we want them to vote, not the way they want to vote. And if those are our concerns that we pass up to our representatives, it should be a legitimate discussion on the floor. Hey, our constituents want term limits. They want guardrails on campaign funding, and they don't want lobbying. They should just listen to us is how the process is set up, but of course they don't.
No. And it's, once again, democracy has been superseded by capitalism, right? To where now your vote and that dollar are so intertwined, it's difficult to disconnect it all and separate it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, one of the big problems with that too is that you have, an entire government that, is funded by, tax revenue, and the tax revenue is being spent without the representation of the people that put them in that place, and I think
big time,
to see that kind of disregard for what our wishes are. I mean, take whether it's Ukraine, Israel, the billions of dollars that get sent to countries all over the Middle East that fucking hate us, the millions of dollars that get sent to the fucking Taliban. I mean, you name it. Like, to me, another easy step one or low hanging fruit would be any tax revenue that's being given to anybody outside the United States should be set as its own separate piece of legislation that has to go through the same way a bill does. Like, you shouldn't just be able to say as a president, hey, we're just going to give you $40 billion fucking dollars. Like, we didn't sign up for that. Like, fuck you. I mean, I think that is total horseshit, and again, that's something that I think is feasible, but now they don't have the ability to kick, pet projects to, fucking people that, that influence them. I mean, there's that fucking senator in New Jersey that was, on a lower level, but, was being bribed by the Egyptian government for, business licensing and shit like that. And it's like, that's the one dude that was careless enough and dumb enough and did it long enough to actually get caught.
Yeah.
So how many of these motherfuckers aren't getting caught,
Or just, smarter about it.
Smarter about it.
I wish at our level they would, it's tax season, right? We all know every year, as you approach April 15th or whatever, that I got like a Scantron. Even if they didn't run these Scantrons through a machine.
You'd feel better about it.
But yeah, if I had a Scantron, it was broken into columns of where I want my tax money to go.
Yeah.
You'd have domestic, you'd have international, and then that would be broken down into military or roads or bridges or schools or this or that. And I could bubble in where I want my money to go. And you fold that up with your check and send it in, just to have the satisfaction, at least I get to choose at my level, right, as an American citizen, where my tax money is going to go, so that I also feel like, okay, at least I know that mine isn't going overseas. Just something, just psychological. Like, they don't even have, they could burn those things, but
at least make you
it would make me feel better if I was just, hey, I want all my stuff to go domestic.
It's true,
Well, I think part of it too, the root of the problem is, or the symptom is that, we're not being represented accurately. But I think the root of that problem is a big part of it stems from, especially in the last 20 years, is that almost this like rock star kind of feeling and affiliation that almost every politician like feels entitled to. It's like,
for sure.
It's like they're now not working for us. They're this fucking idolized figurehead with a huge social media following and TikTok accounts, and they post shit and have podcasts and, write books that the fucking either side, RNC, DNC, buys 400,000 copies of and makes an instant #1 bestseller. I mean, like, it's this whole like machine of pop culture almost wrapped into politics. And it's like, that's not how it's supposed to be the other way around. Like, you should be answering to us, motherfucker, not us trying to get you to listen.
Right. Yeah, I'm with you. And that's where it goes back. It's two corporations, right? The Republican corporation, the Democratic corporation.
It's true, yeah.